Hey guys, I just wanted to make a quick video about a small dream that I had last night. It's kind of symbolic and I'll describe what it means afterwards, but I'll just get right into it. I dreamed that I was watching this woman walk up to this 10-year-old girl, and the 10-year-old girl had a small infant baby. And she walked up to her, and she was the mother of this child, by the way. She got out a gun and started pointing it at her, and the child started screaming and crying, and the 10-year-old girl, and the gun was white, and instead of shooting her, she just scared her so bad she was shooting above her head. And I asked her why she did that, and she said she was running a marathon and her daughter didn't do what she said she was supposed to do. And I was like, how could you? You have no right to do that to your own kid. And so I go to this house, and I'm there with like a few other people, and one person was an army, like, military soldier, and he was talking about how wrong it was of her to do that. But when he had talked to her, he was more understanding of her, and I just basically gave her like a hard time. And for some reason, all of a sudden, I needed to flee the house. I had to flee the house. I was scared for my life. I was scared that this woman was going to do the same thing that she did to her kid to me too. And so I was running and running, but for some reason, while I was running, I was then the one that had the gun. And as I was running, there were also other people running around me, and the people that were running around me like increased in number. It felt like I was on an anthill. It was so many people. It was like a lot of people running around, and this woman was like determined to find me. And for some reason, I realized that I was the one that actually had the gun, and I dropped the gun. And when I dropped the gun, I heard her pick it up, and she shoots to the sky like 3 or 4 times, and I'm like, oh my gosh, she's gonna come and she's gonna kill me. And I ran, and I saw this like restroom unit, and I walk inside, and I lock the door, and I'm like pushing my leg against the door so she can't get in. Like, I'm using my physical force to not allow her to get in, and I'm like cornered on all sides. Like, I have no way out at all. And she's standing outside the door, and for some reason, I have this feeling that I should tell her that I forgive her. And I said, you know what? I forgive you. I understand. I forgive, and I'm sorry. And then as soon as I said that, then she was gone. And I walk outside, and this is where it gets good, okay? I walk outside, and there's like chaos. There's pretty much everyone is like running around and being evil and stuff. I look to the sky, and it's like these white clouds are parting, and instantly I was like in heaven. And I'm not a very visual person, so it's not usual for me to have visions, but I like can sense my presence. I can have like a vague understanding of my presence, but like image wise, like I can't tell you in detail what it looked like. But I can tell you what we did and how it felt. And like the joy that I had was just like I was grinning ear to ear, and I was laughing. I couldn't stop laughing. And there was this teaching that was going on, and I just remember hearing the teaching, and I was like, that's it? People make it sound so complicated. And he goes, yeah, that's the book of such and such. And I was like, wow, that is so interesting. Like, it was like 2 or 3 points that he made. Instead of it being like an hour-long sermon of like cross-referencing scriptures and breaking down each word, he was just like, well, that's the way God is, and God is love. And, it was very just like to the point. It was to the point, it was concise, and it just made sense. And instead of it being all confusing and stuff, it just made sense. But there was like teaching in heaven, And on top of that, we started dancing, and we were line dancing, and I was laughing and smiling, and it felt like I was around people that I had known for a long time. And I just was laughing so much, and I remember this girl, she came up to me and she was like, "Why are you laughing so much?" And I said, "When I was on Earth, I didn't laugh very much. And now I'm laughing." And I even remember being silly, playing the piano, but there was no piano, but I was pretending to play the piano. I could hear the music, but it was as if I knew all the notes, and I knew how to play the piano without even ever being without even having a piano. I just knew what notes that were, and it was amazing. And but I'll never forget the words that came out of my mouth. Now I have joy. And that's kind of like how I feel now, is like, I feel like God gave me that dream just to encourage me and encourage my brothers and sisters that, you know what, our joy will be multiplied. If you suffer now, count it all joy. Just count it all joy, because when you get to heaven, you will rejoice and have so much joy and laughter. It won't even be funny. It will be funny. And what's interesting is that people think that I'm weird at work because suddenly I'm smiling and suddenly I'm laughing, and I'm not being fake. I really do have joy, because I count it all joy, when bad things happen, or, just when life is hard. I count it all joy, and I just laugh. And not saying that I'm perfect, that I deserved this or anything. Actually, the girl that was holding the gun in the first place was me, because I was the gun, going back to the symbolism of the dream. I was mad at the girl for pointing the gun, but in the end, I was the one who had the gun, and I had to forgive the girl in order to be released and be able to go to heaven. This is kind of symbolic of, the gun was white, right? So I'm thinking that it's self-righteous accusations that I'm making against someone else. And the woman not the woman, but the girl that was scared that I was pointing at, she was a child of God. I saw her as a child, and she was just like a small child of God. Maybe she wasn't mature in her walk, and the baby that she was holding was someone that I saw that she was responsible for. But how could a child raise a child? But it does happen. There are grown women who are children who raise their kids, and they themselves are children. They haven't grown in maturity. And even though I, in my dream, was a woman and she was a child, it doesn't make it right to point the finger. It doesn't make it right. And in pointing the finger, I hurt her and scared her. And so I was accusing her of, "Oh, you didn't do the right thing yet, and I'm trying to finish this race." And so when I heard finish the race and finish the marathon, I was thinking, oh, she thinks that she's like, I don't know, so great or so strong or something. Looking back, like this walk that I have with God is no longer a walk, but I'm running. I'm wanting to run this race, and that's me. I'm the one who's trying to win the race. I am, but just because someone is not doing the right thing doesn't give me a right to point the finger. And that's something that I know that is a very common sin for people who are Christian and stuff. They get angry and frustrated at people that are still foolish. But it doesn't show the love of God, because that's not how God is, and that's not what God would do. It's not what Jesus would do. As I was running away from this girl that I knew she was going to come get me, I dropped the gun. It was like I was dropping the sin of pointing the finger, because I knew that, because it became like the Bible verse, "Judge not, lest ye be judged." I had accused, and I was being ran after. I was accusing a person who was accusing someone, and I was being run after. Like, it all just made sense, and I had to forgive that person in order to be able to go to heaven, I had to forgive that person. And I just thought that was kind of interesting. And so I realized that was about me, that I was the one that was pointing the finger, and I had to forgive. And so, I'm just excited and grateful. Whoa, I accidentally just flipped the Bible verse that I wanted to share with you. I have become really excited about us and our how we're going to go to heaven soon. I'm just really excited about it all, just because I know that it's coming, and I'm just so grateful, and I'm excited. And I just lay everything down at the feet of Jesus, and I'm just really, really excited about it all. And I just wanted to encourage others that have just now become repentant. If you just now repented and you feel that it's too late for you to do anything good for God, just know that God will bless you just as much as He's blessed someone who has been doing all these things for all of their lives. Because there's a parable in the Bible. It's Matthew chapter 20, verse. I'm going to read from verse 7. I'll just read Matthew chapter 20 because I want you to completely understand this. The parables of the workers in the vineyard. Matthew chapter 20, verse 1. For the kingdom of heaven is like a landowner who went out early in the morning to hire men to work in his vineyard. He agreed to pay them a denarius for the day and sent them into his vineyard. About the third hour he went out and saw others standing in the marketplace doing nothing. He told them, "You also go and work in my vineyard, and I will pay you whatever is right." So they went. He went out again about the 6th hour and the 9th hour, and did the same thing. About the 11th hour he went out and found still others standing around. He asked them, "Why have you been standing here all day, doing nothing?" "Because no one has hired us," they answered. He said to them, "You also go and work in my vineyard." When evening came, the owner of the vineyard said to his foreman, "Call the workers and pay them their wages, beginning with the last ones hired and going on to the first." The workers who were hired about the 11th hour came and each received a denarius. So when those who were hired first, they expected to receive more. But each one of them also received a denarius. When they received it, they began to grumble against the landowner. "These men who were hired last worked only 1 hour, and you have made them equal to us who have borne the burden of the work in the heat of the day." But he answered one of them, "Friend, am I not being unfair to you? Didn't you agree to work for a denarius? Take your pay and go. I want to give the man who was hired last the same as I gave you. Don't I have the right to do what I want with my own money? Or are you envious because I'm generous? So the last will be first, and the first will be last." I just want to encourage you that we still can work for God and work in His vineyard, and it's all coming to a head. And just count it all joy whenever you're suffering for Him, because God will reward you in heaven, and He loves you very much. And I just want to thank all of you guys for being so encouraging, and all of your comments, and I just give all the glory to God, and I just thank you all for watching. So thank you very much. You guys have a nice day. Bye.